My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to do a follow-up video to the importance of definitions in the Texas Family Code. The Texas Family Code is a document that is 1,525 pages, and scattered throughout the document are various definitions. So for example, if you go through the Texas Family Code, in many sections it gives the definitions. So if we talk about collaborative family law, pages 126 through 127, section 15 of the Texas Family Code, section 15.052 gives definitions of that pertain to Collaborative Family Law Act, and they talk about all sorts of definitions here. They talk about what a non-participant means, a party, a proceeding, prospective party, record, everything, all of these different things pertaining to the Collaborative Family Law Act. Page 164, we talk about abortion, and this is under section 33, notice of and consent to abortion, and under section 33.001, the first thing that we have are definitions. We have definitions for abortion, for fetus, for guardian, for medical emergency, for physician, for unemancipated minor. So we have these definitions. It's very important because somehow maybe we don't know what an abortion is or something like that. We don't know what a fetus is. Everybody knows what an abortion is or a fetus. These are common sense definitions, but it's very important that these definitions be placed in the Texas Family Code. You go to page 169, which would be section 34, authorization and agreement for non-parent adult caregiver. So we're talking about adult caregivers, and in section 34.0015, we start off with definitions, and it gives us a definition of an adult caregiver. It gives us a definition of a parent. I didn't know what a parent was. I'm so glad that the Texas Family Code has clarified that for me. If we go to pages 194 through 196, we talk about the juvenile justice order, and of course the Texas Family Code gives us definitions. In section 51.02, we begin what comes down to 2 pages of definitions that pertain to the Juvenile Justice Code. So sometimes the Texas Family Code has definitions that people would say, duh, you really have to tell me what a parent is? Do you really have to tell me what an abortion is? Do you really have to tell me what a fetus is? But it's very, very important to define these terms so that we'll all know what the terms mean in the context of the Texas Family Code. There is a glaring lack of definitions as well, the absence of definitions. And somehow on these terms, we're supposed to guess, or somehow know, I guess, what these definitions mean. So for example, if you go to page 1 of the Texas Family Code, section 1.001, it talks about, we're talking about the definitions, it's talking about the marriage relationship. Definitions, section 1.002, court. So we have defined what a court is. Okay, that's court means a district court, a juvenile court having the jurisdiction of a district court, or other court expressly given jurisdiction of a lawsuit under this title. Section 1.003 gives the suit for a dissolution of marriage. Suit for the dissolution of a marriage includes a suit for divorce or annulment, or to declare a marriage void. Okay, so those are the only 2 definitions that are given pertaining to this. Now we go into subtitle 3, the dissolution of a marriage. Certainly they're going to give us some more definitions. There is a glaring absence of definitions, and sometimes with things that we say, well, what exactly does this mean? So for example, section 6.001, it gives the grounds for for divorce and defense. Section 6.001, insupportability. On the petition of either party to a marriage, the court may grant a divorce without regard to fault if the marriage has become insupportable because of discord or conflict of personalities that destroys the legitimate ends of the marital relationship and prevents any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. So the first thing I look at is say, okay, what does insupportability mean? Especially because, we have a duty to support our spouses. This is, I believe that's in the Texas Family Code as well. There's a duty to support each other. What does insupportability mean? There is no definition. Oh, okay. So what does discord or conflict of personalities mean? Of course, there's got to be some objective standard by which we can say the discord or conflict of personalities has now met the threshold. And I'm looking to the Texas Family Code for guidance, and there is nothing. Oh, okay, so somehow it's becoming a little bit foggy, isn't it? And And we cannot, that anything that would destroy the legitimate ends of the marital relationship. Okay? Certainly the legitimate ends of the marital relationship are defined in the Texas Family Code. Is that correct? I have looked in vain. There is no definition of what the legitimate end of the marital relationship is. So basically this becomes a very fluid sort of definition. I don't know. How do you know if you've done it or not done it? And this is a big problem in Texas because most divorces take place through this whole thing about, well, let's destroy the legitimate ends of the marital relationship. One person says that, the other person says, no, it hasn't. But somehow all it needs is one person to allege it. And you said, okay, so I know if I steal something, that I know what it is. If I beat somebody up, I know that that's a crime. If I commit assault and battery, that's one thing. If I murder somebody, well, maybe it was in self-defense, whatever. But there's a very objective standard. You have done this, taken this action, and therefore you get punished. But somehow, when I look at the Texas Family Code, now this is a marital relationship, and this is considered the primary relationship of society. Marriage is even mentioned in the Texas Constitution. So something is very important about this. And it would seem that if you're going to destroy that relationship by somebody is going to come in and say, you know what, we don't care how important this relationship is, we are going to destroy this relationship. Surely there is some objective standard by which we can say, oh, okay, we have hit that, we understand that we've done something we shouldn't have done. But I'm looking in vain in the Texas Family Code to find out what this term means. And here is another term, another wonderful term that prevents any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. So again, there's a reasonable expectation of reconciliation. How do we know if there's a reasonable expectation of reconciliation? Surely the Texas Family Code will tell us what that means. It does not. So here we have a statute that means nothing. I don't know what it means. You can file for a divorce. Why even put this in there? It makes no sense because there's no definition. You don't know, well, if you're filing for a divorce against me, of course, I've got to have been guilty of some action or some whatever. No, it could be just you're not happy. I'm not happy. I want to have somebody else. Well, you know what? That is not a problem with me. Insupportability is a problem with you. You're going to sue me for your craziness, and the state of Texas says absolutely. This has now become insupportable. And I looked at the state of Texas in vain to say, what does this mean? And by the way, our legislature has actually written this and has approved this. So our legislature, Republicans, Democrats, both sides, they're saying, this is it. This is how we are going to govern family law in the state of Texas. So I asked my legislators, what does this mean? Would somebody please give me a definition for this? Because in most places in the Texas Family Code, there are definitions given. But for insupportability, I don't even know what it means. Now, it does give ground-based divorces or fault-based divorces like cruelty. If the other spouse is guilty of a cruel treatment toward the complaining spouse of a nature that renders further living insupportable. Oh, wait a minute. Here's insupportable. It's crept in there right again. What does insupportable mean? Nobody has any clue. There is also in 6.003 adultery. They may grant divorce if one spouse has committed adultery. If a conviction of a felony, 6.004, the court may grant the divorce. And by the way, it does not say the court must. It says the court may. However, in the state of Texas, somehow the judge has misread this to say the court must. The court must. No, the court may. And the reality is, the judge does not have to do this. But this is a misreading of the statute. The court may grant a divorce. The court does not have to. So if we look down to section 6.005, abandonment, the court may grant a divorce in the favor of one spouse if the other spouse is left and remained away for at least a year. 6.006, living apart. 6.007, confinement to a medical hospital. The court may grant a divorce. And yet, in 100% of the time, 100% of the time, without exception, there are no exceptions. The court will. The court doesn't even read what is written in the Texas Family Court. So, Texas Family Code. And then here's something that I found very interesting as well. 6.008. Defenses to a divorce lawsuit brought against you. Because remember, divorce is a lawsuit, and it's brought against you by a spouse. The defenses to a divorce lawsuit for recrimination and adultery are abolished. Okay. Condonation is a defense to a suit for divorce only if the court finds that there is a reasonable expectation of reconciliation. Once again, there's no definition for the terms recrimination and nor condonation. And here we again have taken this phrase, the reasonable expectation of reconciliation. We have no idea what this means. And 100% of the time, the court will. The court may, but the court always does. 100% of the time. But what I found very interesting is that in section 6.008, it says that certain things are no longer defense. Means there should be some defense. There is no defense for insupportability. Not only is insupportability not defined, but there's no defense for it. So a divorce can be granted, and the divorce will be granted for any reason, for no reason, whenever somebody appears before a judge, without exception, 100% of the time. Thank you.